Yo, what's going on YouTube? Mic check. GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be discussing The Walking Dead. We are here to talk about the 5th episode of Season 8, The Big Scare You. My hair fucking sticks up no matter what I try to do in the damn bathroom. Pisses me off, but it is what it is. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. We got the plot, we got the critical reception, and after this I'm going to maybe try to get some damn homework done. So I hate doing my computing shit. That coding class, man, it's terrible. But, let's go. So in a flashback, Gabriel prays for a sense of purpose in church, while at the sanctuary, Gregory bargains with Negan and his savior lieutenants, Dwight, Simon, Gavin, Regina, and Eugene, offering to expel any Hilltop resident that sides with Rick. There's 2 different flashbacks, and it's interesting because this is pretty much like Negan and Gabriel's episode. That's kind of what it feels like. Like, that's the main storyline. These 2 getting stuck in this, like, it's like a trailer. Yeah, it was like the RV. Yeah. Simon suggests they can just wipe out Hilltop if they do not comply, but Negan sternly reminds him that they are useful resources. People are resources. People can do things for the world, and that's what Negan kind of mentions to Gabriel. The meeting is broken up by the start of Rick's militia attack on the sanctuary. I'm sorry, I was in a meeting, when that happened. In the present, Gabriel finds himself trapped with Negan in a box trailer outside the sanctuary, surrounded by a group of walkers. It's kind of an interesting situation. Negan doesn't kill Gabriel, but instead lulls him into talking about his past. Negan talks of his own past to gain Gabriel's confidence and help, which is very interesting. We haven't really heard Negan get this sensitive in the series yet, and I think it's a really cool thing, honestly. Elsewhere, Rick and Daryl go to a dying Yago to find out what happened in the past battle. Oh, Yago's the guy that was in the Jeep, I guess. Yago reveals that all the Kingdom militia were killed, except for King Ezekiel, Jerry, and Carol. Yago dies, and Rick puts him down before he can reanimate, obviously, being a good-faithed person, and yeah, all that type of stuff. Meanwhile, the Savior Lieutenants believe Negan to be dead and discuss how they will handle the power vacuum. I mean, man, they must not know who Negan is. He is a bad motherfucker, you know what I mean? Gavin raises the possibility that the militia's attack succeeded due to inside information from one of them. So there could have possibly been a traitor. And a lot of things point at Eugene probably being the traitor, because he's been a coward this entire series, ever since his character was kind of introduced. He's been a traitor, Dwight, who had provided Rick with that information, diverts the discussion to issues with the anxious workers on the floor below, knowing that if they do not assert a form of authority, they could rebel. So yeah, Dwight is kind of the traitor. And he's playing both sides here. He's being kind of, I don't know, he's a very conflicted person. Leaving matters be for the time being, they return to their quarters. Eugene comes by to drop a gift of appreciation to Dwight and notices a freshly painted chess set in his room. Yeah. So as he pushes Negan to reveal more about himself and to confess his sins, moving on to the Gabriel Negan situation, Gabriel manages to grab Negan's gun and escape into an adjoining room in the trailer. He fires off a couple shots, kind of distracts him, and he gets to the other room. That's what Gabriel's goal was this whole time, to kind of get sensitive with Negan so he can distract him and get him in a soft spot, I mean, plus kind of as like a priest, that's what you do, is you get people to confess, their sins and stuff like that, and it's kind of like a little bit of a therapy for them. Negan offers to work together, and as Gabriel reflects on the betrayal of his own congregation, he accepts on the condition that Negan make a true confession. Like, all that shit he said was bullshit. Like, Gabriel wants to hear an actual, like, wholehearted, like, genuine confession. Negan confesses to being an unfaithful husband, They then work. I mean, that's all he had to say, and Gabriel's like, yeah, They then work together to pull in and dispatch a few walkers to cover themselves in their viscera to make their way through the herd. Obviously, you know, the whole guts thing, that's a big trope that happened in early Walking Dead episode runs, and it's really cool to see them bring it back here. Eventually their cover's blown and they have to fight their way through. And they almost fucking die. This is the first time I've seen someone get guts on them and get caught. So that's pretty cool that the show kind of did that, you know. Well, obviously the situation with like Rick and Jesse, I think her name was, and all those people. There's that situation. Rick takes the weapons aboard the Savior's truck they had prevented from returning to the sanctuary. He and Daryl get into an argument on what to do with the weapons. Daryl believes that he should use them against the Saviors, while Rick sees a more humane solution. Like, Rick doesn't want just more and more bloodshed. He doesn't want eternal bloodshed between these two, because the fight's never going to end if they don't find a resolution. The argument turns to a fist fight, which inadvertently results in a bag of dynamite being thrown at the truck, destroying it and the weapons. I feel like Rick did that on purpose, though, if I'm being honest. Daryl refuses to give Rick a return ride to Alexandria, leaving Rick to walk to the scavengers. I mean, he pretty much did blow the truck up. He threw the fucking bag at the truck. Back in the main compound, Simon decides to cut off the sanctuary's power to conserve resources because, you know, after their buildings and some of this stuff has been destroyed, they're obviously running low on resources and, you know, yeah. Several workers come upstairs to protest the conditions and demand to see Negan. Like, where's Negan? Like, he's our leader. The lieutenants lose control when one worker tries to pull a gun, but he is quickly shot and killed, and yeah, it's kind of outrageous, you know. They get attacked and they kind of start losing their minds with each other. Before the situation can go further, Negan and Gabriel arrive having fought their way through the herd. Now, at first, there was kind of like an up-in-the-air thing where the walkers like kind of landed on top of them and that sort of thing. I wish we would have saw what would have how they fought out of it, but yeah. Negan quickly reasserts his authority, and the workers obediently return to the lower floor. Negan tells his lieutenants to gently lock up Gabriel in a cell, like he wants this to be a full-hearted, like, hospitality kind of situation. He doesn't want to, like, imprison Gabriel. The Saviors discover weapon bags among the workers and evidence that they were stolen from their armory by a Savior. Then Eugene discovers about a paint on one bag, the same color as from Dwight's chest set, so it makes him look pretty bad, but Dwight sees that his hand has the paint on it, so he's probably going to vouch for